It can be towards me if you don't want. If you don't want good mana and good clean air, then it could be on me. It doesn't have to.
I just don't want to look like I'm in a hookah bar while I'm talking.
But it makes him look more like Moses, like he's coming out of the clouds.
I look very spiritual.
Like a Buddha, like a Buddha.
Yeah, okay. You know, like when you dream about somebody. I'm just a dream. I'm imagination of your imagination.
The Filipino genie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you guys ready?
I got 3 wishes.
Born ready.
3, 2, 1.
It's a Hawaii thing. Whoa, it's a Hawaii.
Welcome to It's a Hawaii Thing. How's it going? You got Lanai, and that's Brooke Lee. Yes. Don't get us confused. This is brought to you by Star-Advertiser, also the Office of Elections, Hawaii Cancer Care, City Meal, and Mana Up. Today we have a very special guest today.
And he's in studio.
Yeah, and I'm going to give him the best introduction he's ever had in his life.
Ways to set it up.
Yeah, and I've known this guy for a little while, and he's such an overall nice guy, but he has so many accomplishments. He won the O'Neill World Cup in 2007. He was the 2014 Billabong Pico Alto champion, 2014-15 World Surf League Big Wave World Tour champion. He's like a supermodel. He's won a bunch of other awards, but he's also a singer. He has an album out. I was lucky enough to be part of to be in the process of his first album and help launch it and everything. He opened for Matisse Yahoo, Sublime, The Wailers, Common King, Steel Pulse. The list goes on. He's sponsored by Ruka, Oakley. He's given me a few things because of that. You see this? This is all smoky. Energy is coming around. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Makua Rothman.
Woo!
How are you, brother?
Hi.
How's it going?
Thanks
you for having
us.
me. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being in studio, because we usually Zoom everybody, and so we're super excited when there's actual human beings in the studio.
It's a Hawaii thing to be together.
Yes,
and
it is.
To be on Zoom is a little bit not so Hawaii, so I wanted to make sure we make it authentic, and thank you guys very much.
I'm glad you came on the show. We had to get you on because I've had you on my other show twice.
What show?
Cooking Hawaiian Style.
Oh, right.
Which a lot of people have not, and because you're a good cook. People know you from surfing, but you're a good cook.
Because I've only been on once, so that tells you how good of a cook I am.
Yeah, if you come around the North Shore a little bit more, maybe they might know me as a little bit more of a cook. I've actually been cooking a lot lately with this whole COVID-19 going down. Stay at home, but my home is the ocean, so I got to stay in the ocean as well. They said stay home. So
is it hurting you? You're not traveling? Because you travel a lot.
It's actually resetting me. I mean, I get to spend a lot of time with the kids. Do things that I usually wouldn't do during the summer. You know, a lot of the times during all of the traveling for those great events you introduced me on. I didn't get to really spend that much time at home. It was a lot of traveling, 9 months, 8 months out of the year gone. So to be home, to be with family, been writing a lot of songs lately.
Yeah. So you're working on a new album?
I'm working on a lot of new stuff. An album, an EP, a single, we'll see. I mean, we got
a children's book.
A children's book. I was writing a song. It was actually the day after Valentine's Day. And I was laying there with the kids in bed, and I couldn't really fall asleep. And if I just hug the kids, hold them nice and tight and bring them close to me, maybe I'll be able to, like my little teddy bear or something, And of course I get a foot in the face, Dad, get off of me, or all that kind of stuff. And I actually wrote a book about hugs.
Nice. That's cool. Children's books is a big business.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping to tap into that big business.
You know why? Because a lot of people making kids.
Oh.
Especially right now, right?
They need reading material.
It's demand, man, right now. It's in demand is what it is. So you have one album out already.
Yes.
When do you think the second one's coming out?
Ooh, that's
You're still writing?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I haven't really asked myself that question. I know I got a single coming out the first or second week of July for sure.
Who are you working with on the second album?
I was just doing it with myself, Leslie.
Leslie from super producer. He used to be Hot Rain.
Yes, sir.
Yes, done
yes,
the Green.
My brother
Everybody.
Leslie.
He's awesome.
I've been working with him. I've been ready. I actually flew to Nashville. I was going to
Everybody
Nashville.
goes to Nashville.
Yeah. Well, Nashville's a hot spot.
It's the home of
country
Americana
Western
music, and everybody likes country music,
Right.
And you play it backwards, you get your house back, your dog back, your wife back, your car back. You know what I mean?
I never liked country music until after high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was
That's
like a
when the
hip
problem
hop guy.
started, right?
Yeah, it's
and-
really. I couldn't relate to him. Right? Maybe that's what it is. What are you gonna do? Country songs? What are you gonna do?
I got a song called Island Roads that's coming out, and it's kind of along the lines of that island reggae country vibe.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds.
And I got
nice.
another one. I think the first single will be called Tan Lines.
Tan lines.
Tan lines, yeah.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I get lost every time I run my fingers down your tan lines.
Yes.
Just something like that.
Do you write all your own music?
I'm a part of the writing process, yes.
Yeah.
I don't write it all by myself. A lot of it's co-writes. And I actually wrote, during this stay-at-home period, the first full song, I think, by myself.
That's the way to do it. All right, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about your surfing, because I need to know how do you learn to hold your breath so long? Don't go anywhere. Makua Rothman's hanging out with us. It's a Hawaii thing. Makua Rothman is hanging out with us. Now, you won the big wave competition. Was 2 years? 3? When ago? How long ago? You're in it every
when
year.
I won the Big Wave World Tour?
Yeah.
Oh man, I caught the biggest wave ever ridden in 2002. That was
How big?
How old were you?
He's 16 and he never gets older.
Oh, is that what it is? You're like a vampire.
Yeah.
You're like a
I got that special potion.
Buttons. What is his name? Buttons. Ben Buttons?
Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Buttons, yeah.
Well, back then I was just a senior in high school, and it was what I loved to do. And,
You were a senior in high school?
Yeah, when I
You
cut
feel
that
old
wave.
now, right?
Gosh, how big was that? How big was that?
A 66-footer. They measured it to be 74 feet, the way, but that was you know how that goes.
No,
but,
are they doing it from measuring Hawaiian style or from
Yeah,
the front?
well, I mean, it's kind of hard. Everybody says Hawaiian style, but how do you ever see somebody go in the back of the wave and measure the back? I'm like,
Well, I've been in the back of it many times because I don't launch. I just want, oh, you go first, but
but to actually be in the back and get a picture of it, and they say Hawaiian style, they measure from the back. I never really understood that, because how do you get someone in the back to measure it?
Right.
Anyway, our style was just kind of more like,
That's big.
we look at the waves,
Yeah.
that's big, and
and if you're 6 feet, then you
yeah,
go like
that's how. I guess that's how they're doing it now.
We
They measure the
eyeball it.
parachute.
That's the
Right.
Hawaiian way. You just eyeball it.
Yeah, how was that? Did you know at the time? I mean, the waves were obviously all big that day, but was everyone scratching for the wave that was the biggest?
That day was pretty crazy because I actually started out in O'ahu and I caught the wave in Maui, and I woke up in the morning and my dad tells me, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be on Maui right now?" And I'm like, "Oh no, me and Ryan, my co-partner Ryan Rawson." I'm like, "Oh no, me and Ryan just thought we'd surf out here at Phantoms, which is right behind my house. I could wake up, my stuff's right there, you know." And he's like, "Well, you thought you were gonna stay here?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, think again. Go get Ryan and, you know, get him up and get to Maui." And I'm like, "Well, how do I do that? It's 6 in the morning. His house is locked. I don't care. Break in, wake him up." "Oh, all right." That's like, run over to his house, jump on his mom's car, jump on the roof, jump around the railing, start pounding on his window. He wakes up. We get to the airport. For some reason, it's 2002, right? So. 2001 just happened. They're like, all of this
Security.
Yeah, you
gotta
can't
get
come
through.
before. You could come anytime, 10 minutes before. "How's it, Auntie? Yeah, boy, go have fun." You know what I mean? Now it's like, they search us. "What are you guys doing here late? You just bought your ticket, blah, blah, blah." We get there, and Laird and Derek Donor and Dave Kalama guys had left. And they're like, "Oh, well, take the jet ski." And I get to the house, and there's like 5 jet skis. None of them have gas. None of them have oil. And it's like, oh, I guess it's time for me to grow up and figure it out myself, right? We get the jet ski finally started. We get out there, and everybody's coming in. All the waves went down, and all of these things and whatnot. Get out there, and I'm like, darn it, we missed it. We blew it. Oh, I was just all bummed out. So I'm like, "Ryan, just throw me the rope. I'll go out there and catch a wave."
What time is it in the day?
So we weren't there till about 1:30, 2 o'clock, because our flight was at 9:30. We had to get there, borrowed a truck from somebody at the airport.
Right.
Just Manuela boy style. It's a Hawaii thing. We figure it out, okay? And we got there. I get on the rope, and I'm like, darn it, whatever. Let's just catch a couple waves, have fun, and go home. The way, the swell's going down. Sure enough, we go out. The first wave that stands up was that wave. I was like, whoa. I was kind of tripping, because that was the biggest wave I ever seen at the time. I was like, "Yeah, this one." He's like, "This one." I'm like, "Yeah, this one." We get going, and when I kicked out of the wave, for some reason, it just took all the energy out of my body. And I don't know, I just felt like something was different about that one, you know what I mean? 'Cause you can't really see how big it is when you're riding. I was a young kid just hoping that I could get out of it and not fall, to tell you the truth. And
Could you hear people on the shore?
No, it's a cliff. You can't really. It goes silent, especially in that situation. It's pretty silent. You know, maybe if your leg breaks or something, you can hear it. But other than that, you don't really hear much. And was the wave heard around the world. It put me on the surf map for the rest of my life.
all of those things hadn't happened to make you late to go there, you would not, you would have caught a different wave. So that whole thing happened. Can I find the jet ski? Can I get the car? That was all just making it sure that you got there at the perfect time to get the perfect wave. So
Some call it luck.
Yeah.
Some call it right place, right time.
The universe, yes.
Cosmic. Be, right?
Were you already sponsored at that time?
I was sponsored, yes. I was actually riding for the Hui. I was riding for our own company.
Yeah.
I was riding for Oakley, but that changed it all. I was Hanson's Energy, which turned into Monster. I was one of the first athletes ever there. Ruka, all of that stuff.
It's amazing. I want to talk about your training in a minute. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back. Makua Rothman is hanging out with us. It's a Hawaii thing. Welcome back to It's a Hawaii Thing. Makua Rothman is hanging out with us, talking about big waves and water and ocean. Now, when a wave gets up to 60 feet, that's a lot of tonnage. That's a lot of water coming down.
Oh, yeah.
The kind of training that you guys do, what is your daily routine for something like this when it's season?
Right now,
when it's time to go into season.
Well, for surfing, there's not really a season. We kind of got to be in shape. Fairly good shape,
the whole time.
Always, because the northern hemisphere breaks in our winter, and then in our summers, the southern hemisphere's turn to light up. So we don't really have an off season per se, especially on the big wave side of things. We're always watching for the storm. You know, whenever a storm pops up, we got to be ready to go. So, I mean, you got to eat well, sleep well, train hard, underwater training, cardio training. You got to be flexible. That wave bends you in positions you never thought your body could ever go. You know what I mean?
How long can you hold your breath? Have you ever timed it?
How long can I hold my breath? Static, just sitting here like this?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure. 4 minutes for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah, if I breathe up and do all my breathings at least.
You can't even do 30 seconds.
No, well, there's theories to oxygenate your blood, and there's way to like.
You run every day. How can you not have?
I'm breathing like a madman, I'm panting, like saliva's coming out of my mouth. I want to need oxygen.
But there's a difference when your heart rate's at 200.
Yeah.
Your adrenaline's through the roof. Your body is at max rush, and you're underwater fighting against Mother Nature, which you got to go with.
Right.
Any more than a minute and a half, you're probably going to drown.
Yeah.
Or 2 minutes. If you're underwater for 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and you're on a wave.
But, okay, so what was when you prepare for this and waves that big? What are you doing to prepare for that? To hold your breath that long?
You just gotta. You gotta prepare from a young age. It's not something you want to just do all of a sudden and be like, oh, I got a bunch of money, let's buy a jet ski and go tow into big waves. You know what I mean? That might not be the best idea. But it definitely cardio. You gotta be strong, and you have to learn to relax and conquer that fear that's in your mind, because people are gonna tell you, oh, I'm not scared. No, I'm scared. I'm definitely scared.
If you're not,
you know what I mean?
Human, right?
Fear puts you in a not a strange place, an interesting place. You know, it can make people go one way, fight or flight. You know what I mean? And you got to be able to control that and use it to your ability. Use it to a strength to know where you should be and where you shouldn't be. How to react in certain. You know, I've torn my face off.
You did that in Tahiti.
Yeah, I broke my sternum in half. Like
his lip was below his jaw.
Was that Teahupo'o?
Yeah.
That's rough. Because
so all of my teeth on the top were all veneers.
Because it's just
those are all wood.
Broken. They're all porcelain.
He's got money. He's not a pirate. Because it's just straight reef, right?
Oh, it's reef. Yes,
it just pounds right onto
coral reef. Yeah, I hit my face
hit
on the corner of the reef like that and just peeled it off like an orange.
Dang.
Did you go over? How'd that happen?
I was just pulling into a barrel, and I didn't make it out, and I got sucked up and over, and when I went up and over, there must have been an air pocket going to the bottom, and I just went straight face first twice. But when I came up, what was funny is I remember looking at I forget what hand it was now, but my finger was pointing at me. Did
you do this? You did one of these?
Yeah, well, I tried to block, and when I was going so far forward, I just went like that. Boom!
Oh my goodness!
And I came up, and I was like, "Oh no, my finger is pointing the wrong way."
But like, you don't have anything on your face. They have good plastic surgeons in.
I have some
scars.
scars.
You have a few scars.
Wow.
And that's not a good place to be in a hospital.
What, France?
In Tahiti.
Well, there's
Tahiti's French. They're cool.
No, I know, but you were like, it's not close, right?
Well, I mean, I went to a clinic, and the doctor had a bunch of other people that had reef cuts that day, and he's like, "What's wrong with?" He's like, "Oh man, what's wrong with this guy?" And I let my face go, and I seen his eyes just go.
Oh, you were holding your face
I was
together.
holding it different. The blood
He's
was
like
just dripping
holding
down.
it together.
Yeah.
So I let it go, but it fell back down, and he
Lordy.
just went like, and I'm like, "Oh, that's not a good look." And he's like, "You straight to surgery. You straight surgery. I can't help you here."
Wow.
So I jumped in a taxi, because there's no ambulance or nothing. The taxi lady took me in.
See, there's no ambulance.
So
She
crazy.
checked me in because I could barely speak French, so she helped me check in, and she took me to like an international hospital.
That is insane.
And lucky thing, I think one of the best surgeons in France was retiring in Tahiti maybe at the time or something, and he
Lucky
just happened
guy.
to keep
Did you
working.
find?
should
Hey,
buy
did you
some
find?
lottery tickets.
Did you find your teeth? I'm just kidding.
They were still there, but they were broken.
We're gonna take a little break. Makua Rothman is hanging out with us. It's a Hawaii thing. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to It's a Hawaii Thing. Makua Rothman is hanging out with us, telling stories of all his.
Left his teeth.
Was that the worst accident you've ever been in the water?
I think the
has to
one
be.
that was pretty bad. If I would have knocked out, I would have been pretty bad shape. I
Did
don't
you
know if I'd
think
be
I'm
here.
done after this?
No, in Fiji, the last one I wiped out in Fiji, I thought that I was done. I didn't think I was coming up because it was holding me down, and I just remember thinking, if I pass out, whatever. Hopefully the boys get me before I die. Passing out and drowning
No vest.
is one thing. I had my vest. I had my inflation suit, everything. It just, there's so much water and so much different currents, and that wave was the biggest wave anybody's caught it in Fiji, for sure. And it just wasn't letting me up. And I vividly remember thinking that, and as soon as I thought that, I somehow broke the surface, and the next wave hit me, and like, I didn't even get a breath. I got half a breath, and the next one hit me right on the head.
Oh my gosh, that's the worst part.
Yeah, that sucked. And Puerto Escondido, Mexico was pretty good too. I had the board hit me in the chest, and it cracked the cartilage that connects your ribs to your sternum.
Dang.
I thought I popped my heart on that one, and I was thinking, oh, any second now I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna like pass out, and it's over, because it hit me so hard that it sent this shock wave. Long story short, it inflamed my spleen, and I had to go to a doctor, and they thought I had lymphoma. And
I had no idea this.
all this kind of
Surfing
stuff
was
goes
so
on.
dangerous.
Yes, and that's why, I mean, all of this was part of your schooling to be a stuntman now.
Oh yeah, I mean,
He's now
Being
a
a stuntman is
stuntman.
nothing compared to bouncing your head off of the
But
reef
he
in
knows
Tahiti.
the dangers
well, I mean,
of...
being
and
a
it's-
stuntman, sometimes I rely on myself in the ocean, putting myself in the right place. Being a stuntman, I gotta rely on
Yeah,
someone
that's
else
true.
hanging me
Right.
off the building, or a
So you're one
ratchet
step.
failing.
You're one
or-
step further, really, in reality, than the actual guys who are putting it
Yeah.
together. He has a better vision of what's going to happen.
It's just been such a blessing to work with guys like Tom Harper on King Kong versus Godzilla. Those
Yeah.
guys are legends in the stunt world. And working with Paul and the team at Hawaii Five-0, Danny Kim and the boys, Brian Kealana, they definitely mentored
Brian's
me
the
a
man
lot.
for
And-
stunts.
Brian
You've
is
been
the
doing a
man.
lot of stunts, though, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you do like the water safety stuff, or you
I'll do whatever they ask me to.
You've been a bad guy, I think.
Bad guy,
Yeah.
good guy.
Shooting guns.
No
and
guy,
stuff.
just a guy running in the bushes.
No guy.
You know what I mean?
Do you? What do you like doing? Do you, out of all these things that you do, what's your biggest passion? Of course, surfing, but
My biggest passion right now is taking my daughter and teaching her all the things that I've
seeing
learned.
that.
Surfing, hunting,
How old is
fishing,
she?
diving. She's 5 years old.
She enjoys the surfing.
Oh, she loves everything Daddy does. She doesn't want to go anywhere without me. And sometimes I'm like, that's a good thing. But then when I want to go by myself, she's old
Right.
enough. Like, Dad, what about me?
Yeah.
We made this deal. Before I was with her a lot less, and when I had her, if I couldn't go to a meeting or a work job or something without her, then I wouldn't go. You know, I told her, if my daughter can't come, I'm not gonna go.
Nice.
And so I told her, if you can't go with me, then I'm not going. And now she's like, well, you can go with me, I can go with you. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Why are you going without me? And I'm like, darn it, all those little things
She's
I'm starting to
smart.
learn.
Smart.
You can see. Does she have it in her, that surf sense?
Yeah, she's just gonna be a little athlete or something. She's super bright, and I hope that I can instill the right values in her, one way or the other, because after a certain amount of time, it's gonna be up to her, not me.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's a lot of pressure
Yeah.
when you're
Well,
done.
yeah, well, your family is coming, you know. But she's so sweet. His daughter. The
She's
last
gonna have
time,
a lot of eyes on her.
Yeah, the last time I saw your daughter was probably a year ago, and we were at some event, and I didn't know you guys were there, but she came from across the room and says like, Uncle, hi, Uncle. And I was like, where's your mom and dad? And then she brought me back to you guys. And you guys were like on the other side of the arena.
Aww.
Yeah,
She's a special little girl.
Yeah. So is your boy surfing too?
My son likes to surf. I take him. I just taught him to swim. This COVID thing was actually a good thing for my son, my youngest son, because I had the time to spend to teach him to swim.
Yeah.
My daughter got taught by a swim coach because I was competing a lot. I was gone. I was, rarely ever home. And I got to spend this time to actually teach my son to swim. And
How old is he?
He's 3.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's got some athletes. You can have some athletes in the family.
So he's diving. He's doing his thing now. He's no more floaties.
Yeah. Are you still diving?
Oh,
Fishing?
yes. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've been taking the Leah. She actually caught her first taco.
Yeah.
I found it, seen it. I gave her the spear, showed her where it was, made her poke it, get it out of the hole. Came out. No, it came out and like went up the spear, and she kind of started getting her. She started flipping out, so then I had to grab it and do the thing. But
trial by fire.
Yeah. That's how we live at our house. You gotta, you learn. Don't do that, all right. And then you do it and you get, so I just told you, don't do that, right?
Yeah. All right, so we want to thank you for coming in on the show. We have a second part of the podcast. If you want the extra, you can go to our website, itsahawaiithing.com, and you can get the full podcast. But thank you for coming on today.
But we have gifts.
Yes.
Here.
We have an enjoy pack for
so
you.
now you can share it with all of your all the little ones.
And you can't that's all good for your teeth.
Well, I'm the snack mom. I don't have any teeth.
That's what I mean. You can do whatever you want.
Whatever.
The hard ones, the soft ones, it's all good for your teeth. You won't get any cavities. So
nice.
Eat them all. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Check us out on all our social medias. It's a Hawaii thing. Thank you, Makua.
Thank you.
Welcome back to It's a Hawaii Thing, the extra part of it. The Makua Rothman is hanging out with us.
We're having snacks.
He has such an interesting life. A singer, songwriter, surfer, diver.
How do you get
cooking.
from surfing to singing?
Yeah, I think local
When you're
boys.
surfing, come on the beach, you gotta jam for the chicks. You know what I mean?
Do you guys all sing? Is it like a whole surfers just sing?
I think it's a very local boy thing because there's a lot of local boys who are now coming out singing.
Right.
And
well, I mean,
part of the lifestyle, right?
My auntie is Shaw Thompson, Teahupo'o.
Oh, yeah.
That's my grandma's sister.
Oh, okay.
My grandma then played Kodak hula show and dance hula since they were providing for their family at 8 years old, dancing and singing. And
it's in the DNA.
My mom and my grandpa, and that's what they did to make money back in the days. Whatever they had to, and singing was part of the culture, so.
Right.
Yeah, and not to mention, like I said, after you surf, you come in, barbecue on the beach, jam some solids.
When you're surfing at this caliber, do you ever just go out with the boys and just have a good time on a 3-4 foot day?
Oh yeah, all the time. That's pretty much, no matter what caliber it is, like unless we're competing, then.
Because you guys gotta be in the water.
Yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do when we compete. But every other time we surf, it's like the boys having fun, whether it's 25, 30 feet or 2 feet.
Like you couldn't live in Nashville because it's landlocked and there's no water. Like you would literally be jonesing for the beach.
I mean, I could live there for a couple months, make a few $1 million singing and come home. But I mean,
Which pro surfer are you competitive with? Is there somebody that like you always?
Give us names.
Yeah.
We love names.
Oh, I've been competitive with.
Yeah.
On the Big Wave World Tour, there's a couple of us that are always battling each other.
Like, do you guys talk trash?
Billy Kemper.
Oh, Billy. I want to get Billy on the show.
Kai Lenny.
Oh, Kai.
Few other, Twiggy Baker. Yeah. Me and Twiggy had a good battle for the world title. He was the current world champion. I was taking his trophy whether he liked it or not. And I told him that. We're in Chile and sitting in the hot tub, we're waiting for the finals because it's freezing, right? So we're sitting in these big hot tubs watching these huge waves come in. And I said, just imagine, Twiggy, I could win this contest and the world title, and you gotta give them both to me. He's like, not gonna happen. Gets out of the hot tub and goes sits in the other one.
It's on Nuha.
Oh, yeah. You're getting in his brain.
He's like, not gonna happen. I said, "Pa, that's the best day of my life, taking your world title and the trophy for today."
Nice.
Long story short, he's out there, gets this one wave. He's like, paddling by. I get the one wave at the end. I was just like, yes. And drove by on the jet ski, and the guy takes you in on the jet ski ride, and he's like, give us a ride. And I told the jet ski, don't you dare give him a ride in right now. We're going in by myself. I'm going to enjoy this one by myself. And he's got to paddle in and give me his trophy. And he's got to give me back the title right now.
He has to work for it.
Oh,
work
so
for it.
classic.
Nice.
That kind of stuff. Other than that, surfing's pretty much one big ohana. Everybody likes to enjoy. I mean, it's the beach, you know what I mean? Everybody's hanging out, kids are playing, dad's surfing, mom's tanning.
Yeah. Who did you look up to as far as surfing when you were a kid?
I was lucky to be raised in a house with guys like Dane K. Aloha, Johnny
It was
Boy
like the
Gomes,
golden years. It was like the
Sonny
golden
Garcia,
age.
Buttons, Kaluhio Kalani. They were all my uncles. You know, they took me surfing as a kid when my dad was doing whatever, or he was out doing what he was doing, and Uncle them had to surf a contest the next day, so they were sleeping early, and I'd be with them. You know what I mean? So I was fortunate enough to be in that position as a young kid and have those great Hawaiian representatives, great Hawaiian surfers. In my corner.
You know what I think is really cool when you watch a surf contest? Hawaii is obviously part of America, but they always give the Hawaiians the Hawaiian flag.
Yeah, we asked.
California surfer, you don't get the California flag.
We were asking that about the Olympics. We're thinking, well, since Hawaii has its own flag on the World Tour, it's like the Hawaiian World Champion. It's not the USA World Champion. It's Hawaii wins the world title. So we're thinking, and our ancestors created the sport. I thought maybe they gave us a sport creation exemption or something we are actually a sovereign nation, right? A treaty of whatever, but I guess that's how it goes, and we got to do what we got to do. But that's something that a lot of people have wondered: how come the Hawaiians get to use their own flag on the world?
Is that the reason they use?
I'm not sure how they got that.
It's because they don't know that we're part of the United States. A lot of them don't know. They don't know.
But I always see it, and I'm like, it's like right on.
Right.
So
I mean, just when surfing started, a lot of the big stuff was in Hawaii, and everybody wanted Hawaii next to it. They didn't want USA. They weren't US. You know what I mean? They're like, no, I'm not surfing for USA. Period. Like, I mean,
how do you feel about these brands, especially the big ones, coming and taking like the Hawaiian Islands and putting it on their clothing?
Name the brand.
Oakley. I mean, all of it. Any big brand that's a surf brand, taking the islands or taking the flag and putting it on their brand, and they're not from Hawaii. And then you see the smaller brands from Hawaii having a hard time. Does that bother you at all?
Well, I mean, you gotta say that for China or Japan or anybody else, they take Hawaii and use it to make themselves money as well. Like Hawaii is the most sought after place, I think, on planet Earth.
Yes,
it's the most special place that you could ever have. It's aloha. That word aloha, I mean, there's not too many words that come from such a small place in the middle of the sea that is internationally recognized.
I ask that because I have a lot of friends that are designers that don't like it. They're like, stop taking our stuff. Use your own state.
I'm sure they don't like the fact that America came over and took Hawaii either. But, I mean, to me, it is what it is. I think we embrace what we have, be thankful for every day that we got, try to make the best of it. And if you want to make change in a positive way. Just like all these things going on nowadays. People don't like this going on or that going on. Well, let's make a different where it counts. Vote. Get different guys in office. Have people run that can make the difference. Because if you don't, the same guys are going to be there. The same stuff that you don't like is going to be happening. And it's been the beginning of time, I think. Humans just cannibalize themselves. I mean, every king wanted to kill the other king. Every empire wanted to take over the other empire. It's nothing new. I mean, Adam supposedly killed Eve or however it went. And I think it's just a destructive gene that we have in human nature. We are humans. We're not black, we're not white, we're not green, we're not blue. We're a human race. We're one. And within that, there are good people, and some people are born with different things and different ideologies that they're taught, and that's how it goes, I guess. And we have to do what we can in our communities and reach the people that we want to reach, and try and preach, I think, a message of aloha. You know, if the whole world had aloha, I don't think we'd have a problem.
I think you do a great job of that.
I think
you really do a great, because you speak well and you use your platforms definitely to say that. How do you feel about how surfing has gone? Because like you look at, like we're talking about Buttons and Sonny and that era, they didn't get everything that you guys get. now. There's a lot of money now being poured into surfing, you know. How do you feel about that, and where do you think it's going?
Well, just like I said, there's certain people that have made changes, and they have to acknowledge that the surfers need to be paid, they need to be compensated for their work, you know, and sponsors understand that. Sponsors understand marketing dollars. The more marketable someone is for them, the more they can get in return, and that leads to more money for people, you know. So people speaking well, doing the right thing, reaching the right levels, putting 110% into training and fitness and being a professional athlete instead of the old slang of being beach bums. Guys just want to drink and smoke and hang out at the beach was the perception at one point, you know. And this sport came from the kings. It was a sport of the elite people of its creation, and it's turning back into the sport of the elite and the people that are taking it to the next level. And taking it to the next level means next level of money, next level of sponsorship, next level of responsibility, just like a fighter, and not going out there like we used to. You know, I was one of the worst punky attitude kids there was, but it was a product of your environment as well, you know, and you have to learn and grow, and if you don't, things are going to happen that you probably don't want. And you're going to learn one way or the other.
Is the Olympics going to change the game, though? Like, once the Olympics and the sport becomes an Olympic-sanctioned gold medal?
I think it's going to open up to people who've never seen it before, and it's going to give a set of whole new eyes and a new audience, which I think is positive.
I think the wave pool could be the difference in it being broken to another level.
It's even.
Because you get the same wave, same ramp, just like the snowboarders every time. Surfing... First of all, is subjective,
right?
Because someone's giving you a score. It's not like you hit the ball 4 times and you got a score or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like then you got Mother Nature, and in Japan where they're going to hold it, the last 12 years, I don't think there was a single ripple in the ocean at the spot they were going to run it. And then so there's all these variables because surfing is so dependent on Mother Nature.
Right.
And if you could take Mother Nature and put it in a controlled environment and produce it, I think that will be the way and the future of competitive Olympic sport. Surfing needs to be outside. It needs to be that variable.
Yeah, because the biggest part is how you read the wave.
Exactly.
You choose the wave and all of that.
It's all about timing, placement, being in the right place at the right time. Sometimes, you know, you call that wave. Waves are energy. Waves are sound waves. You know, it all comes in different forms, shapes, and sizes. We're talking right now. It's a vibration of something, you know, it's a storm that created pressure on the water, which was sent out, and then you just happened to fly halfway around the world and that one line had met up with you. So, you know, there's a lot of things like that in surfing that you cannot duplicate, and a pool is just something that's repetitive, and I think it's good for stadium audiences and stuff like that, but for actual surfing around the world and the tour that it's on now, I think if you change that and you only put it in those pools, it'll only get to a certain level because you can't get bigger right now. You can't get too much different. There's only going to be so many things, and the wow factor about surfing is the big waves, the sharp reefs, the wipeouts, the carnage, and all of that stuff.
It's the unknown.
It's almost more appealing when someone eats it and doesn't make one then.
Didn't you get Wipeout of the Year one year?
I got Wipeout of the Year 2 years ago,
2 years ago?
No, last year.
Was it last year?
He's like, I'm a proud recipient.
Well, you look at the size of the waves, and you'd be proud of that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. Well, it's like I rode the baddest bull of the year. You know what I mean, or something. You know, for all the big wipeouts and the crashes that people take in the ocean, I got the worst one. That's pretty cool. You know, that's an award.
When you guys are scratching for a wave and a set's coming in a contest, are you guys talking to each other, the four of you?
Oh, we're trying not to talk to each other. I'm trying to put myself in a spot where the other guy can't get it, or I'm in position. He has to pull back, and there's a thing called priority nowadays. So in the big wave tour, we don't have priority still. We're still back to the old scrappy days where anything goes. And then they're trying to say, oh, gentleman's rule, and if you just caught one. I said, bro, this is competitive surfing. There is no gentleman's rule because there's no...
there are no gentlemen's here.
I mean, it's like you're in the ring going, okay, you punch me, I get to punch you. Are you kidding me? Like, this is what I do. And until they put priority, I'm going to surf how I'm supposed to serve, because there's a certain format, there's a certain template that you have to meet to be able to be the best in the world when there's no priority. You have to position yourself. It's a chess game. And if you want to go ahead and be like, yeah, no worries, I just got one. Go ahead and take my $100,000 check. All good. That's up to you. But I'm not into that. So I got family, got mouths to feed. And
well, I asked the question because I think it's interesting because you guys all know each other very well.
We train together.
And when you guys see each other in the finals,
it's
like, are you still talking trash?
Game.
We don't really talk too much. Good luck. We hope nobody gets hurt. If they do, we'll help them out.
Why you gotta stir shit up with them right now?
Because sports is a lot of trash talking, even with friends. You watch the Michael Jordan thing that just came out. I never realized how much Jordan talked trash to people.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
What about in his Hall of Fame speech when he told, his coach or the owner of the team, who invited you?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they still today. He said he's still very competitive and talks trash. He says
that all the teams win championships, no players win championships.
No, I gotta ask you about Pipeline. Everybody wants to know about Pipe, and not too many people get the chance to experience. 1%, less than 1% get to experience that ride. Mm-hmm. Your first pipe ride that you got barreled, how old were you and what was that like?
Oh man, I must have been like, 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, yeah. Way back, yeah. And
did you shit your pants?
No, I didn't actually. Well, you gotta remember that we start in the shore break. We start as kids, like my daughter, them tumbling around on the sand in the shore break and learning that. We go to the next level, which is a little farther out, catching whitewash. We go to the next level, and next thing you know, you're like, I could get barreled over there. You get, it's not a thing in our mind about the wiping out the eaters, because it's what we've done. It's like repetition. It's like
it's your backyard.
It's like a race car driver. He's not worrying about crashing in the turn. He's going flying over that turn. If he crashes, then that just is what happened. It's just like a mental thing. It's when you come later on in life, and you have hesitations, and you've learned certain things, and you become afraid before you've learned how to do something. I think just like a pageant or something. If somebody's never done, they come later on in life, they're like, but if you've done it from a little girl, you walk up there like, what's up?
Your first pageant's always your best one because you have no idea what's happening.
You don't know what to expect. Do you remember Hurricane Eva?
Yes.
And on Lanai, I went surf. It was like the last time I was on a board, and then I went stand-up paddle after that. But it was only like 7-8 feet. I was down for a long time. Like everyone came looking for me, and that was it for me for like months. I didn't want to go back in the ocean.
Lanai has a pretty cool wave. That little nice, Manele right there.
And we grew up in that. It wasn't that big though ever. It was only, it was always 4 or 5 feet. That's the biggest it ever got.
I had a pretty fun session out there. I was pretty surprised how fun the wave was actually.
And it's a long ride.
Oh yeah, from outside the point all the way, and you get the shore break on the inside.
Yeah, you get the shore break. So, but the pipe experience at 11 years old when you got barreled, what'd that feel like?
I don't really remember, but I remember about 13 or 14 years old when Johnny Boy Gomes took me out there for my first few backdoor sessions, and he was making me catch the waves by myself, and I actually got a shot that was supposed to be on the cover of a big surfer magazine, because it was like this little 13-year-old kid pulling into these big barrels, and Corey Lopez had caught the first big paddle-in wave at Teahupo'o. Yeah. And that was news around the world, so that took the little kid in Hawaii out. But I'll never forget those barrels. I'll never forget tearing my kneecap off or smashing my elbow and fracturing it, the last good swell. A pipeline is like the woman that you love so much, but you know, she likes to smack you down a lot if you're not careful.
Put you back in check, huh?
Yeah, but it's...
What does it sound like?
It doesn't really sound like anything until you hit something really hard, or you break something, or you hear a leash or a board break underwater. Yeah. I swear, it's almost like it's silent in there.
It's like you're in your dream.
Yeah, it's almost like you get like...
you suspend reality.
I'm not sure what that happens, because when you go into a barrel, it's almost like you're going to like a time warp or like a wormhole, and it's silent.
Because my friends always ask me...
It's in another dimension.
From the mainland that had never been to a beach. When I was younger, I would get barreled, but 3-4 feet or whatever on a bodyboard. But I don't know what it sounds like on a 40-foot wave.
It doesn't sound... Like when you're in it and you're going, you don't really hear too much. There's certain sounds that come because some of your senses are so turned on that I think some of them that aren't really essential at the time don't really need to work. So your body your body's trippy at adjusting to certain situations. It's that evolutionary gene or something in there that...
Survival mode.
Yeah, it's one of those things that what needs to be it bees, and what doesn't need to be, doesn't need to be, like, for real. Yeah. And, but that's, I mean, it's nothing like getting on a stage in front of a lot of people and going, you do anything you want with a microphone. Put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands down, put your hands down. Go to the left.
Which high do you like better?
I love it all, but I love just jumping up on that stage and first thing putting my shock up in there and going, aloha, and hearing the whole place go, aloha. Just that sound. When I won the World Cup in 2007, it was the loudest, best feeling, because when I caught the wave and I kicked out and I knew I had the score and they read the score and it was me winning, the whole beach screamed so loud I could feel it.
Right.
And it must be like, you know how those surf football players or the guys in the ring with all the fans, there's a feeling, all of that energy and all of that voices when they, you know.
I can't even, you know, you do stand up and you perform in front of 100 people. You can't wait to do it again. That's the drug. I can't imagine having that.
It's crazy. That's why I continue to write music, and I want to write something that touches everybody from here around the world and back, because I want to be able to stand up in big stadiums one day, not just to say I've done it or, you know, because the biggest people in music do it. I want to do it because I want to feel that vibe. When I say aloha and that whole stadium yells aloha back, that feeling right there is what I want every time I get.
What are you working on right now, Makua?
I'm working on a bagel company.
What?
Really?
Yep.
Like bagels?
You're gonna make it here?
Bonsai Bagels.
Bonsai Bagels. Nice. That's a cool name.
My Jew of a husband will be so excited.
When are you planning on launching that?
It's up now. We're just starting our taste testing for people like you folks. It would have been cool if
you should have
would have brought some bagels.
It's okay, we can do a whole other podcast on bagels.
Yeah, you're always welcome to come back.
We always do things, but been working on the bagel company.
Your online stuff, your video stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually filming, getting some web series stuff going.
Nice.
I've been filming a lot with my daughter, and just everyday life. Everything I do is pretty cool. I think a lot of these surf vlogs are cool.
Yeah, your brother's killing the whole social media.
They're killing the game, and I think that taking it one step further of outside and everything I do outside of surfing that ties it back to surfing can reach a much more broad audience than just surfing itself.
Right.
The cooking, the friendships and the relationships that we have with people, talking with them like this, cooking. Yeah. Food is massive. Yeah. Everywhere we go in the world, there's great food, and we travel all over the world all year long. Yeah. Show the culture of where we go, show the people and the food and the things that we do. I mean, people have some of the most successful TV shows in the world doing that. Yeah. So
he's coming for your job.
We've been talking.
I actually asked him to come and be a part of the food bar with me.
We have
That's my brother. Come on.
You can come too, bro.
Thanks,
we can get it.
But congratulations on everything, man. I'm always proud of you. Thank you for coming on the show. We look forward to the album. I think you should get that out soon.
And then bring the bagels back next time.
Yeah.
Oh, I will.
Bagels.
Get the album done for Christmas, man. You have time.
Don't pressure him.
No, I'm pressuring him. I always pressure him.
You know why? Because he's a doer. I'm like a doer, but then it's like I have all these things, and then like 4 of them get done.
He's doing a million things right now.
But now he's got like 4 hammer ones, and all the ones that aren't. I'm like, oh
but
gosh.
Congratulations on everything, and much success to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the snacks.
No, you're welcome.
Hey, take them all home.
Take them all home.
It's a Hawaii thing. Makua Rothman. Thank you, brother.
It's a Hawaii thing. Whoa, it's a Hawaii thing.